Challenger.
Welcome guys and gals, this is your host Frog Prince Rana and thank you for dropping by. In today's video, I will debunk the father of all modern flat earther, the guy single-handedly brought back an age-old book. Yes, we are talking about the great Eric Dubay. Recently he released a video, NASA's Top Glove Proof Debunked, and obviously there has already been several debunk videos of his debunk. Instead of going through the whole video, I will just tackle 2 points. Well, just because I have recently published several videos handling the very same issues. First is this image on how perspective works. Oh, oops, wrong picture. Sorry about that. This is the correct image. Well, I have several videos on this topic. The recent one, does object disappear from bottom up? Plus, same experiment from Flat Earth channel. I came to the same conclusion as we all expect. Second one, well, my recent debunking Flat Earther DITRH David and how perspective apparently works on Flat Earth. I tried to model Flat Earth to see how a sun would work. That time I didn't have an exact value for a local sun and had to make several assumptions. But Eric was kind enough to provide us an exact size and distance of sun on a flat earth. So I can redo my modeling with this correct value. So let's jump into it. First, the image. Well, there is nothing to say. It is completely self-explanatory. We are told the camera is placed a few inches off the ground. Then some wrong assumption, the length he came to. And then we see 3 shots of a person disappearing from bottom up. Well, first of all, I do not think the photos are manipulated. I don't think there is anything wrong with the eye height either. Obviously, I cannot prove how exactly this shot is taken, simply because I was not there to record it. I can, however, replicate similar shot and show how this phenomena can be achieved. First, here are some shots I took for my earlier video showing YouTuber Richie 00000 why her experiments were, well, wrong. On these shots, a bottle placed far away at different distance to observe if the complete object is still visible. But this time, I need to get the completely opposite effect. Well, the easiest way to ensure this is to have the eye level at a lower elevation than the field. And yes, while having the camera a bit above ground. And here is what I managed. I didn't have anyone else to help me and had to estimate and take some shots while walking through a muddy field. Yes, it has been raining. So my framing is not perfect. With a person as reference, I could have got a better shot. But this still indicates what is happening. The football field is not completely flat, but is flat enough for this test. Here you can see the location. Now the shots you saw weren't taken from where the camera is now. The camera was a bit too high, and the shots did show my bottom part disappearing, but only my shoes. The red circle is approximate position where my final shots were from. To put it as an illustration, top panel is showing when the camera center is above or same as the elevation of the person. In this configuration, the person would never go out of view unless some obstruction comes into play. Bottom panel showing how the camera can be lower than the object in view, in which case the object will disappear from bottom up. This is the cool part. We can calculate every single step with math and verify the result. We can predict exactly what would happen, and it can be repeated with the exact same result. Give me the exact elevation from sea level for the camera and person. Then I want a 35mm equivalent focal length or lens focal length with sensor size. Finally, the starting distance. From that, math can tell us how much would be obscured on bottom panel. Now, please don't confabulate this scenario with ship going over the horizon. The ship is floating on the water, where the part under the water is obscured by the water itself. We are on seaside, and even if we place our camera on ground, it would still be higher than sea level. Unless of course we dig a hole to lower the camera. Pictures from boat, drone or any other device would have an elevation higher than the boat. Only a camera more than half submerged in water would be akin to bottom panel, where item can disappear from bottom up even on a flat plane. This was all for the photo. Now moving on to modeling. We have measured the distance between location many times using different methods. So there should be no dispute on the distances involved. From pole to pole, the meridional circumference, Earth is 40,008 km. If disputed, the easiest check would probably be my measuring both America from top to bottom. That means the flat Earth has to have a radius same or greater to account for the giant wall or the hidden landmass beyond. We can see the flat disk with the correct dimension. We also have it at 0, 0, 0 in 3D axis, meaning it is the center of universe. Now Eric tells us the Sun is 32 miles or 52.5 km in diameter and 3000 miles or 4828 km away. So here we have the Sun with the exact dimension. Note the z-axis says 4828 km. This is the distance from the center of Sun to Earth directly below. The time is either equinox. This is the day Sun is exactly overhead at the equator at its apex. This is what we would call midday. But the time is not important for our example. Let's just say it is 41 past 12 p.m. when the Sun is exactly overhead. Point to note, due to atmospheric refraction, the Sun can appear to be even 3 arc minutes off from the equator. That is a whopping 0.05 degree. Someone in Corboda, Argentina. Well, that person is at 30 degrees south and observes the Sun at an angle of 29.96 degree. Again, the refraction came into play. By the way, these data are from winter equinox 2020. But for our modeling, we can ignore that difference. A, it is rather small, and B, in our model scale, we wouldn't be able to tell. Next issue, well, we know Earth is spherical. And when we try to project a 3D object into 2D plane, some sacrifices have to be made. Basically, we have to distort something. It can be distortion in latitude, longitude, both and such. This map projection is called azimuthal equidistance projection and is centered on the North Pole. This preserves both distance and direction from the central point. Scale is true only along straight lines radiating from the center of the map. On polar aspect, this is along the meridians. Otherwise, shape, scale and area distortion increase outward from center point. Oh, and one more thing. Our model is assuming a perfect sphere. Then again, due to the difference being only 22 km between polar radius and radius at equator, it doesn't mean much in our example. In this model, from our center 0, 0, 0, if I only move in x-axis or y-axis, I would be traveling over a meridian line, and the scale would be true, which also means halfway point from the center to the curvature is where the equator lies. Well, let the Sun move above the equator, and let there be light. Being a linear scale, we can accurately place the person at 30 degrees south, and if observed, Sun has an altitude of 30 degrees, ignoring refraction. Well, red line shows where the Sun should be, on a flat plane with a local Sun. As you can see, as we move farther away from equator, with a local Sun, it is not at the angle altitude we observe on our Earth. What happens if we move from this fantasy to reality? Well, with a spherical Earth, with a giant sun very far away, everything just works. Well, thank you Eric Dubay for making it ever so easy to debunk. This is where I will end this video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you have enjoyed this content, please give it a like, comment and share it with friends and families. If you could also subscribe, that would help my small channel and help bring more contents to you. Thanks once again. Wherever you are, have a safe day. Signing off.